everybody. Is it Friday again? Oh, it is. All right then, let's go. Well, it's time for another cocktail video. Today we're going to be making a whiskey sour. I know what you guys are thinking. Where's my ghee? Well, I think I've been in quarantine way too long that I totally forgot that Friday is a no ghee day. So therefore, instead of the ghee, I wear no ghee. Also, no ghee is much more comfortable to be wearing around the house. So anyway, back to the thing. Whiskey sour. Here's what you need. This is everything you're going to need to make a whiskey sour. They were using Shackleton blended malt Scotch whiskey. It's got a nice sort of light character to it, which blends well with the citrus and the sweetness, as well as the bitters of the Angostura bitters. We're using lemon juice, fresh lemon juice. This should not be substituted. I mean, there are pre-mixed sour mixes in the market, but we shouldn't use that. We should use real lemon juice for reasons that I will explain a little bit later. Of course, you have an egg here, sugar syrup, and of course, like I mentioned, Angostura bitters, which is usually a garnish, but let's be honest, the amount that people are putting on top as a garnish, it'll mix in with the liquid and it'll give a little bit of flavor to it as well. So now we're talking about, now we have the ingredients recapped. We have to talk about hardware. It is very important that you have a shaker for this particular cocktail, because you're going to need to, you can't just stir it, you have to like violently shake your ingredients together. You also need to have a jigger, but pro tip, if you don't have a jigger, you can use the lid, the top lid of your shaker as a measuring device. I measured this out. It's approximately 25 ml or 3/4 of an ounce, which is perfect because this cocktail is a little bit different, because 3/4 of an ounce is exactly the one part that we need for this. This differs from our cocktails for the last couple of weeks because we can mix those cocktails using ratios, but because we're using an egg, we have to make sure we cannot ratio how much egg white one egg can produce. So ideally we need to figure out actual volumes used. It just so happens that we're counting in volumes of 3/4 ounce or 25 ml increments. So this is perfect. And if we were to translate it into a ratio, it'll be one part of lemon juice, 1 part of sugar syrup, and 2 parts of whiskey. First, I start off with putting a part of lemon juice. Again, I measured this out and it's approximately 25 milliliters, 25 milliliters or 3/4 of an ounce. Then we will get the exact same amount. We will use the exact same amount of sugar syrup. A while ago, when I started shooting this was freshly cooked, so it's very hot. Now we cooled it up a little bit, so it should be okay. Doing slowly. And there it is. And now, we just set this aside, and then we do the egg thing. Now, what you want to do is you want to separate the eggs. Here's a pro tip. When you're separating the eggs, you need to separate the egg white into another container. You cannot separate it over your shaker, because if you mess it up and there's a little bit of yolk falls in, you have to throw everything away. That's the problem. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're able to separate the egg yolk from the white from the yolk. You should do it. Put it in this other thing to the side, of course. Outside, out of my mind. Then, because you did it right, put it in. And then we add the whiskey. Maybe not in that order, but okay, let's try it. One. And two. Now that's all the ingredients you need. It's all in there. I know what you guys are thinking. Hey, there's a raw egg white in here, and that's not good. That's gonna cause like food poisoning or salmonella. Well, let me stop you right there, okay? First of all, it's a chicken egg, not a salmon egg. So don't worry about it. Okay, just kidding. But really to explain it is this. What we do is we're using actual freshly squeezed lemon juice. This is why I insist on using actual lemon juice. Is because the natural acids of the lemon juice is going to make the egg so that it's like it's cooking it, but actually it's cleaning it, and so it makes it safer to eat. You know, like ceviche, where you can use lemon and lime juice to somewhat cook raw fish, or how it's safe to eat steak tartare, because despite it being raw beef, because you're putting lemon juice on it. Same thing with the egg. So what we do is we leave it here for about 10 seconds. 10 seconds has already passed since I've filled everything up here, so we're good. The next thing you want to do is you want to dry shake it for 30 seconds. Now, dry shaking is a term for bartenders wherein you put all your ingredients inside a shaker and you shake it without ice. So the idea of shaking with ice is called, well, shaking is with ice all the time, unless specified, and it's called dry shaking. Dry shaking is without ice. I already told you guys that. So we're good. You could do this with one up. You could be like that guy. Just shake it up, then shake it up a little bit, then shake it up a little bit. But this is a small one. You have to shake it up. You can shake it up with one hand, like you're shaking up protein or something. You can do this. You can do the Ultimate Warrior. You can do this on the top of your head. You can do you can do all that stuff. Then you can shake it in the other hand. You can do this and just keep shaking it, like shake, 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 shake. And I think we've done 30 seconds. And now we add ice. We're putting some ice in it, and then we shake it a little bit more. What happens is that when you viciously shake the egg yolk, it becomes like a frothy thing. It becomes frothy, like a head. That's why we use the egg yolks actually. So we'll see. We'll show you later when we pour it. So now I put the ice back in the shaker, and then I'm just going to shake it for a few more seconds until it gets cold. Normally, when you're shaking, you'll know it's cold when the shaker itself gets cold. So you can see it's getting pretty cold right now. The good thing about this particular is that you open it, has its own strainer in here so that it'll filter out any large solids. But because there's already ice inside, and it might have broken apart, there might be tiny shards of ice, so that's why we use a strainer. So when we pour it, put this on top of the glass, And we start pouring. So that only the liquid comes through. No little pieces of ice comes through. I think that should be it. There you go. You see, there's a little bit of a frothy foam on top. And then, what you want to do, you're going to add a couple of dashes of this stuff. Angostura bitters. There's really an art to it, but I'm just not going to do that. Ideally, you're going to want to put the bitters around to make it like decorative. I just sort of dash it in there. And in the end, you're just going to mix it in anyway. So basically, whiskey sour. Cheers. Ooh, that's good.